Welcome back to the Holotable Games Network. I'm Ginger Joey.
And I am the absent-minded Corey.
Nice, Mr. Nutty Professor.
You know it.
Well, absolutely not
I
the
watched
Nutty
that
Professor,
again
but the
a couple weeks ago.
absent-minded Professor. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm the absent-minded. It's not the nutty, but it's more accurate. But yeah, I
for
watched
you, yes.
that again last week, and it's a
The
fun movie
absent-minded
still.
Professor. Nice.
Or the Nutty Professor, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. I do enjoy me some Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
There was an era when he was really putting out those fun, just goofy, silly comedies.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
we're back. This is our Sunday summary on a Monday because Corey
yeah.
couldn't do it last night, so we're
Nope.
doing it today. We should change the name from Sunday summary to I don't want to say like the weekend recap because that's like the whole Saturday Night Live thing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So weekend update or whatever, but
Yeah.
uh the weekend
If anybody
review.
has any fun ideas that's watching now and wants to come up with a name for us, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, we're doing Sunday/Monday reviews or whatever, or like catch ups
Yeah.
kind of thing. So today is going to be reviewing or going over the weekend events, which includes the sector in Paris, which was a limited sector, mind you.
Hmm.
They did do a, what was it, the Cup, which is kind of like the Open they did
Yes.
at Galactics, which had
The
a
Sector Cup.
okay, there you go. So talk about that one a little bit, and then we want to dive into a little bit of like preview stuff for Lawless Time because we haven't touched on that stuff at all so far. So just to do the website stuffaroo. So is
Yeah.
this the? This is a specific.
You're on Little Rock right now.
I'm
Yeah.
on Little
Okay.
Rock
Yep. Yep. Yep.
specifically. I don't want to be on Little Rock
No.
specifically. We want to go
Just look at
generically to
everything.
the outside. So tournament results, as you can see, going back for the last weekend, we had a lot of Hans, including, I think it's 4 Han 1 yellows? Three. One,
Yeah,
two,
three, I believe.
three,
Yeah.
four. Nope, there was four. Five.
Four. All right.
Five
Oh wait,
Han 1
I
yellows
can
took
get this right
down.
now. Five Han 1 yellows, three Han 2 ECLs, two Yoda data vaults, and two Han 2 blues. Those were
And
our big winners for the weekend.
and
So
Akira.
and Akira,
So
just for the heck of it, and one Han 4 Tarkentown as well, just for fun.
yep,
Or no,
yep,
sorry,
yep.
that was Han 1 part Tarkentown. What am I saying here? Han 1 Tarkentown.
So
Han 1.
the special tournament, the Deluxe Sector Cup, was won by a Sabe Tarkin Town, which, if we pop into that one, we will see that the top 8 of that was 5 Data Vault decks.
Yeah.
5. And what is that? 4 Hans involved in that. So there's
Yeah.
that. The sector was a limited, so I almost don't even know that there's worth analyzing that because a lot of that stuff it's hard to analyze in limited because
Yeah.
a lot of it comes down to just what you got pulled and without actually watching the draft end of it to know how somebody drafted, it's hard to also analyze that in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it does. I mean, it shows you once again one thing we do know. Leia is probably one of the better options. If you pull Leia, you probably want to try to find a way to play Leia. It's not a guarantee because again, it's a limited draft and the sealed. You're going to have to go with your card pool, but she is definitely one of those top tier play it if you get it leaders, or if you have a way to play it, play her.
Well, it's also
Um,
interesting that like we don't even get to see who most of the leaders are that were in
yeah,
the top 8,
it's
so
not the best in that aspect, but yeah, limited is so card pool dependent. It really comes down to what you pull, what you draft, what everybody else is drafting. So it's hard to really say a lot from what we're seeing. Aside from, yeah, these are the leaders that team seem to continually do well. Leia being one of those, Jabba being one of those as well. As long as you get enough Sentinels to really play him well. Obviously, Yularen is another amazing one. Resource cheating is always good. Not resource cheating, action cheating is always good. So those are like the top ones to kind of look for. If you get one of those three, that's great. Mothma usually does okay as well because she's not as strong as those other three, but if your card pool just doesn't support any of those three, you can probably find a way to support her.
Yeah, Mothma is more so about your card pool because if you have
Hmm.
good draws in officials, your card pool makes up for what she doesn't do as a leader herself, whereas a lot of the other
Yeah,
ones are the leader's abilities, which you're kind of like working around at that point. So,
yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
Leia is definitely those, because there's so little removal in this set. The fact that she can just make stuff bigger and bigger and bigger until you can't deal with it anymore is tough for any decks to handle.
So that brings up an interesting thought process. Um, Control decks, hard control decks, where it's nothing but event removal, event removal, event removal, are kind of looked at as like the villain or the anti-fun decks to play against, right? But without that event removal, do we just become a game of Voltron where it's build the biggest person that just can never die because you can never actually get up enough actions to go against it? Especially now that we've introduced cards like emergency powers, where it's just, hi, I'm a giant character now.
Hi, I'm huge. You
Yeah.
can't deal with me. No, that's a good question. Yeah, I would say we need more cards like Bamboozle in at least some way. It doesn't have to be exactly as strong as Bamboozle, but something that gets rid of all upgrades in one go.
Oh, we have those already.
We have a little bit, but
We
we
have
don't have a ton
We
of
have
it.
Kit Fisto's Aether Sprite, plus we have
Yep, we do have
there's
that
the
one. Yeah,
new one that's the plot girl. I can't remember her name, but she does the same thing.
yeah,
So we do have redundancy in that already. I'm just referring to more so like cards like Power of the Dark Side, where it's like a
yeah,
cheap instant removal and it's an event. As much as I personally hate playing against, or like Rivals Fall would be the best example of it, right? Where Rivals
yeah,
Fall hits anything and everything, including leaders, right? I do see a need for cards like that. I just
yeah.
don't want to see so many of them printed that you can make an oops all spells deck. I think that's where it like crosses that line, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big advocate for, I think 6 edicts in one rotation is probably a little more than you need.
We have
Three
nine.
is just having, yeah, it was sorry, yeah, three. It was 2 edicts, but you get 6 in a deck. I think that's a little too many. I think just having one edict in a rotation is probably the place it should be, along with other removal that does stuff to take care of that. Because you do need, as you said, you need that counter to, you can't just have everything just get stacked and stacked too big. And then how do you deal with this? There's no answer. There's always got to be a way to interact and a way to, something for somebody to be nervous about is the number one thing. Like you have to be worried about, if I play this, I might get screwed over by this.
I think it comes down to like a balance thing because for me it was I thought Merciless Contest was the perfect balance in a removal card in that it hit you and them. But
Yeah,
you basically get to choose your victim or your sacrifice, if you will. The problem was the fact that you can ignore your sacrificial part of it. Like if you couldn't ignore that and you
true.
had to fulfill the sacrifice in order to get the removal, I think that is an ultimately cheap balanced removal card.
I see. I would go the other way. I think it's fine if it had been the only edict, because it's an edict that either you don't put something out and get that, or you're gonna be killing some of your stuff, and later in the game, you're probably gonna have things out that you have to kill. So I think if it was the only one, it'd be good. But the fact that you also had 3 Power of the Dark Sides as well for additional redundancy, that was a bit much.
Well, anyway, it was just like
Yeah,
an interesting
yeah,
aspect because you're talking about Leia and the whole Voltroning and just putting experience on because you lack removal. Well, it's like we don't want to play in a world where we lack so much removal that that's all it becomes is who gets the most gear and upgrades and everything else like that. To where if you're not playing a redundancy of 12 upgrade removal cards, you just lose every single time. You don't want
yeah.
that, but you also don't want so much removal that you can't play upgrade cards because you just get absolutely 2 for 1 and blown out because where you've invested, say, 8 resources into this unit with an upgrade, they just play a 3 cost card that gets rid of your entire thing. It's like
Yeah.
that balance is also not good to see in a game either. So
I mean, I will say, flip side, as strong as the having being able to have 6 edicts was, we still didn't see a lot of control really doing that well. I think Galactics was kind of the high point for control, where I think you had a lot of control-y decks. I consider Talzin a unit-based control deck for one. So you saw, and same with Kylo. So there was control there, but that I think was kind of the high point of controls. And since then, control's just not been as strong. We've had too many decks that just have too many units to go out too quickly, and that's control can't deal with that.
well, we finally started getting to the point where units are creating other units once you started introducing the tokens. Without
Yeah,
that, that's where you had the one for one issues going on. So anyway,
yeah,
moving on, let's look at the meta report here, and we can see that in the top 8 over the last weekend, this was your breakdown where you had pretty much Han 2s with ECL being the predominant deck that made top 8s, followed by Yoda and Han 1 Cunning Tyne. Now, this is the interesting one to me because the Yoda Data Vault was the big boogeyman deck ever since Wu went triple threat wins with that deck. And then along came Han 1 Yellow with the win and 5th place by our local Julian at
yeah.
Sectors in Arizona. So now we are seeing, as we saw in the last competitive hub report, 5 Han 1 Yellows taking down PQs. Do we live in a community of net deckers?
I mean, somewhat yes. I think, and I would argue that the Han twos, especially, are a lot of people just grabbing a Han 2 deck because it's a pretty simple deck to pick up. I would argue Han 1. I mean, I've played Han 1. I know Julian well. I've seen him play it a lot. Han 1 is a very difficult deck to just pick up off the net and practice for a week or so and be able to go and win a competition. There are a lot of challenging decision points within that deck. So I think it's more stronger players seeing from the sectors, oh, yeah, that Han 1 deck is back. And we're probably seeing, I would expect, a fair number of these players have played Han 1 historically as well. And that's my expectation because it's, again, I don't feel like Han 1's a deck that you're just going to pick up and go. That is a tough deck to do that. I mean, I know that personally. I'm nowhere near on Julian's level. Like I can't come close to playing Han 1 that well. That is a challenging deck to time properly.
Right, and I'm not saying that all players that are playing these decks are suddenly like the net deckers or the ones that are just like gravitating towards the one or the other. Some people like
Yeah.
we know Julian has been on Han 1 for a long time. I'm not calling any individual person out.
No,
What I'm
yeah.
saying is it seems like we start hitting spikes of people playing the hottest deck. Does that sway or skew our numbers? Because now it's a matter of statistics that these decks are going to hit the top 8 more consistently because when a third to a half of the field is these decks because people are just, well, this is the deck that Wu won with, so I'm going to play this deck. They might not play it to the level that Wu played it, but it's still being represented because they are playing that deck at that point in time. And like we've always said, a lot of this game is matchup dependent. And if that person who
Mhm.
maybe is not as versed still gets great matchups into the deck and they spike a top 8, boom, that adds one more feather into that deck's cap, even if it isn't quote unquote the best deck. It just has a good winning record because it's heavily played at that point in time.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I definitely do think that is a part of it. We are seeing a fair bit of that. But also, I mean, again, as I said, I argue strongly there's a lot of challenges with the power level, specifically of Han 2 and Han 1. They're a lot higher. I mean, I think if you scroll up and go to actual, if you go to all and just showing just what we're seeing for all decks showing up, it's still a lot of Yoda. Yoda's still the top represented deck showing up. It's not converting as well, followed closely behind, as I said, by Han 2 well, not even closely behind, but there's a big drop off there down to 57 of Han 2's ECLs. One thing you're still seeing a lot of, and I think this is worth highlighting, people are still on Piet. Like that, there's 50 Piets there, and they just don't convert. Piet, as I said, I think it's a fun deck. I see why people want to play it, but Piet has that problem of, does he hit ramp? Great, he probably wins. Does he not hit ramp? Yeah, he's probably lost this match. So it's such a, in a game that is a card game and going to have randomization anyway, it's an even more random deck of your win and loss is so reliant on hitting ramp or not.
Sure. I would say
Yeah,
most heavy green decks are.
sure. Yeah, I agree. But
Like
this is the
even
big
the
one that we're
Yoda
seeing
deck can
represented.
be like, if they don't hit ramp, they can get so far behind just because they're not getting able to get that cheating going on.
Yeah. But Yoda has the backup of, Yoda also has the healing to go along with, I didn't hit ramp, but if I can hit enough healing, at least I can still drag this to where I want it to be.
Sure. Or
Piet doesn't
using your
have
my
that.
only hope to cheat something out. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Piet just, well, I hope I get my ramp so I can get my big ships out.
Well, he is the ramp, and the whole thing is that he's trying to get himself onto the board faster.
Yep.
So, one thing that
Yeah.
I've thought that people should be running in Piet, but they don't, is that 3 drop 3/5 ship that has a bounty that your opponent gets a resource. So
Yeah.
you can utilize that to your own benefit by running Sham Sandula. Oh, look, you took out my ship and now you got an extra resource, and now I get to get an extra resource, so I ramp faster. I use my weakness as a strength to go forward with it. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I do agree. Like, we definitely see some net decking. I mean, I think a lot of Yodas still are on. Man, Wu did so well. I think Yoda's really good. So we're still seeing a lot of that. But again, that's not a terrible thing. I mean, if there's a good deck out there that you think looks like a fun one to play, grab it off the net. I
sure.
always recommend tweaking it a bit. Like I grab net decks as well, and I personally, like, if I know there's a archetype that I'd like to take a look at, I'll grab a net deck that's done well in the past and then start tweaking it to my liking. But the key is always to change it to your play style, because a well-built deck matches your play style. And that's not going to be exactly what you're finding on the net. You're
Sure.
going to need to make tweaks to it. So that's, I think, the biggest tell of a good player, is being able to recognize, this is a very strong deck. This is how I can make it stronger for my play style.
Yep, adapting and overcoming. I think the bigger oddity to me in this is the Cad Bane here. Because
Yeah,
Cad Bane was all but out of the meta for a long time. And then within the last couple weeks has come back into it, but it's come back into it so strong that it's hit fourth place on decks played, even
yeah,
over the Han 1 yellows, which are down here at half of Cad Bane's value.
yeah. Which, again, I think that comes back to, as I said, Han One Yellow is a tough deck to play. I don't think as many people are going to jump on that for good reason. You got to get a lot of practice in, and are you going to be able to get the reps in time? I think we'll
Sure.
still, I think we will see it increase, because I do think more people are picking it up and starting to practice those reps. And it's a very good deck. But yeah, I think it's more of a, that deck takes a little time to build up.
Sure. So
Yeah,
all right. Well, that's kind of what we got for the weekend and how things have mustered out and where potentially we're going to see it. You think we're going to get more Han 1 yellows coming out. I'm still trying to crack something into the meta that doesn't exist anymore, but that's just my style of, I don't want to conform. I want to make something original. Yay.
yeah.
But we'll see. Most likely, if I want to actually start making some points to hit that worlds, I better start conforming real quick.
I mean, we got rotation. Then it's everybody's new. It's a new ball game, and I'm excited for it.
Well, speaking of rotation, we're going to roll into just talking about some of the Lawless Time cards that we have seen come out. We haven't really touched on this yet, so you tell me when to stop as I'm scrolling, but I'm going to say
I
stop
mean,
right away. So
right there is a way to stop, because Emphas is great. Emphas
the
is
leader,
going to
yep.
be a long-term, very strong leader. I will say that flat out right now. That is a very good ability. She's well balanced, which I do appreciate. The fact that
Let's
it
see.
costs 2 on the other side. Yeah, if
Let's
you
see.
click
Yeah,
into it, you'll
let's
see.
let's do this
Yeah,
side. So on the
the
leader
fact it
side,
costs 2.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, the fact that, yeah, that it lets you double it on attack, but you have to pay 2 on the leader side and exhaust the leader. So that's not too strong, but it is still very strong at times. You're not going to use it constantly, but especially in the later game, after Emphasis probably cleared off the board, and you probably have some of those big units with on attacks, doubling those up can be huge. So that's really good. I like that the stat line is great. 7 health is fantastic on a 5 flip. I think that's going to be honestly a difference maker, because a lot of our leaders now, the 5 flips are 6 health. And there's a lot of things that can swing for 6 health on turn 5 and take them out. 7 is that little bit of extra padding you need to really survive longer. So I think that helps her a lot. Yeah, I saw her and said, yeah, she's going to be good. Very good.
Yep, I agree. I think that she's probably, of the leaders revealed so far, it's her and one other one, which we'll get to later, that I think are my first. Hey, let's play around with them from what we've seen so far. Also, emphasis in probably like my favorite, uh, one of my favorite color combinations, which is red heroic, to actually mess
Yeah.
around in, so it doesn't hurt for that. I do think she is appropriately cost for an ability. I kind of equate her ability to a Grand Inquisitor type ability, which is you don't necessarily want to use it every single turn. You're going to pick your
Hmm.
opportunities. So it's an opportunistic ability to utilize that could rake in some positive dividends over and over again. Um, I think this doesn't work as a combination, but my first thought was Dryden Voss, because I think he's a villainy card, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's a
But
villainy card.
like
I'm pretty sure.
being able to double his on attack, to double his power, then double it again, and then swing in would have been absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a villainy. So that's not gonna. I mean,
Well, I
well,
mean, no,
I'm not
because
gonna
we
say
got
that's
the
not gonna work.
you can
They do
play
have
out
those
of aspect
bases.
cards with the new bases, correct? So
Yeah.
a Dryden
Uh,
Voss being doubled by Infus Nest for like a finishing card could be pretty nasty going
oh
forward.
wait,
So
no. You can only play out of aspect regular color. It doesn't ignore heroism and villainy.
oh, that's right. It is only the four basic
Yeah.
colors. So
Nope. Nope.
anyway,
It's 4 basic colors. But yeah, no, I do agree. I think, and I mean, I haven't dug deep into it. I mean, your number one key is going to be ambush cards with on attacks. That's going to be really a sweet spot for her. But
and but then
even
you're gonna have to pay 2 extra for putting that ambush card into play. So you're probably attacking with an below curved
I mean,
ambusher. So
I was thinking more. I guess I was thinking more ones that are 5, the 5 or 6 that come out on her flip turn or the next, that are ambushed
sure.
with on attack. I haven't dug into that's not, I need to actually dig into what's out there for that, but
Well,
that's kind of like that's a sweet spot. I mean, well, we saw one, the Airy.
I think it's
How do you
airy.
pronounce that?
I think
Airy.
it's airy.
But yeah, we have the Airy right there. It's a 6. Well, that's not an ambush though, but
Sure.
never mind me.
Well,
But
but
again, that type of thing.
the biggest thing that I would also want to point out is that tokens or credits can be
Yep.
used to pay these costs. You don't actually have to be on the right resource. The only thing credits aren't for is for determining number of resources to flip a leader. So that's the big thing to
Yep.
keep in mind.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah, she's incredible. This is definitely the leader I am most excited for that we've seen. I also really want to see her showcase. I think it's going to be great. I hope
sure.
so. I do
Uh,
like the default art they used here, but really hyped for a showcase for her.
the other thing to be looking at is gear, like her helmet, that
Yep.
when you put it on a character, gives that character an on attack ability, because that's something you can then utilize to trigger off of anybody at that point. So
Hmm.
scrolling down here, one of the other cards that I actually liked was this Champions K29 Pod Racer here. So
Yeah.
it seems super simple, but already the first thought that I had in my head was a Wedge Antilles deck. So if
Yeah.
you have a Wedge Pilot in green from Jump to Lightspeed, you play this on 3, you immediately get a credit. You can use that credit plus Wedge's discount to immediately put a pilot on the Pod Racer. And now you have a
Yeah.
much bigger unit going on. So you can just kind of like, again, using the credits as an offset to then apply extra stuff with a discount from a different leader. So
Yeah. Well, and both of these, both that and the Anakin's Pod Racer, like it's nice seeing some more good ground vehicles because
yeah,
that also makes things a little more interesting for those pilots of those pilot leaders. And oh, you have some ground vehicles you can use now as well. Uh,
I know
Particularly,
one.
as always, I like to go back to Poe. They're really fun for Poe.
Yeah, and I actually think that Biggs might see a little bit more because one of his
Yeah.
things was to give a speeder a bonus. It gives it grit, if I'm not mistaken. And there wasn't very many speeders in the game up until now.
Hmm.
So this is going to help him as far as on the ground. Speaking of this pod
Yep.
racer, Anakin's, it's interesting, but I think it is so niche, it's not going to see as much play as I think people are thinking right away. Um,
Yeah. It's
I
a
think
good,
he's. Go ahead.
if you have initiative, it's good. But
Sure.
that's a coin flip. It's like you can't, it's hard to build that into your deck when you don't know when you're only going to have initiative every other game,
That's
probably.
not the thing that I'm thinking it's not going to be as good as people think it is. It's while attacking if no other units have attacked this phase. That includes
Yeah.
your opponent's units.
That's what I'm
So
saying. You
all
need
yeah,
initiative to go first.
yeah, all they have to do is attack with any one unit right away, and you already basically brick the uniqueness about this ship or this racer. So
Yeah, I agree. I'm not as excited about that one as I am with the other pod racer you mentioned. Like I think that's the better of the two. I'll also say I don't think the client's very good. And I mean I love me some Werner Herzog, but did we need a client leader? I'm not so sure.
it's just he's got a delayed action. I mean, I just think he's okay. He's a 4/4 shield at 5. Meh. He's an imperial. He's an
Yeah.
official. Maybe those things matter, but he's not. He's not floating my boat as far as like I got to build something around him like Emphas does.
Yeah.
Um.
He's underwhelming, I would say, by far.
Yep.
We did get that right there. That I want to highlight that we did get our first credit token hate, which well, not our first, but
Our
yeah, that's our
first
first, right?
targeted, or it's our first
Yeah, first
targeted
targeted.
credit token hate.
Yeah, it's our first
You could,
targeted hate,
yeah.
which we need, and we need more of. This is not enough. There needs to be more because there has to be more cons to playing credits. But I think this also tells us, yeah, there's more coming. We're gonna have more hate for credits as well.
See, I don't know that we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of it, honestly. So, but
I think we need to bet on this.
you can always use Galen Urso to shut off credits as well. So
Yeah,
he is probably your first credit hate card that you can get, and he's also in blue, so you can go this into Galen and have double credit hate if you really want to.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's good. Yeah, the rest, I mean, good. I mean, Mandalorian's good, but I don't think we need to go in depth on him or anything like that. Like the blue red, both Mandalorian and Belly. Oh man, Valence. We'll just call them Valence. They're good.
Baylor
Those are good cards.
Valance.
Yeah.
So one thing to consider is Baylor on the on attack with an Infus Nest leader
Yeah.
becomes you do the one draw and then it triggers it twice. So it creates two
Yep.
separate instances of it. So you would draw one card and deal 1 damage because that's all that you've drawn for that turn. And then it would trigger it again. You would draw another card, but now you've drawn 2 cards in total for the face. So you would do 2 damage. So it's a total of 3 damage, and it can be to different targets. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting on attack combination with Infis. And it is on a 5 drop, which is Infis's flip turn. So in theory, if you had some kind of way of ambushing him into play, you could turn into a really good play on that front.
Or credit token to get him out the turn before.
That's true.
That also
That's
do it.
true. So
There's ways. Yeah, I think he's gonna be. Yeah, he's a good emphasis card, and he's just a good card around. Card draw is strong.
yeah.
Especially that's really a great time to be getting card draw is that 5-ish turn because that's when you're starting to feel well, I could really use more cards, but I need to resource more still.
So I do like the Sebulba's pod racer here. It's kind of like your villain Falcon in that regard.
Yeah.
Um, the I do want to see how much more discard synergy we get in this set. It's actually an area that I think the game has been lacking. You try to do it a little bit with Afra, you try to do a little bit with Trench, but you never really got the recursion of once it goes to the discard, how do I get it back? And I want to see like more of that stuff come into play. So we'll see what the set brings for that.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing the murder droids as well. Like, I don't think they're that good, honestly, but they're murder droids. That makes me happy right there.
I think 000 is kind of nuts, honestly. So
uh, I mean, yes, it could be good. I mean, it's going to take specific decks.
sure.
Um, but that's what's wrong. We got the rest of our common bases. We saw they're pretty much all the same. We got the last epic base. It's fine. That
Yep.
Citadel research. Yeah,
I don't know that it's worth
not
the
that
4 hit
excited.
points.
Yeah,
So
Sebulba could be good. I mean, he's a discard base unit or base leader. So again, as Joey just said, if we see a lot more discard synergies, he could be very good.
my
I don't.
concern is
Yeah.
aggro leaders that cost like 4 are going to get left in the dust because of things like Max Rebo.
Yep,
It's
and that's the next one.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you are just going to be like sailing past and bypassing all these aggro leaders and aggro decks and going into like the 5, 6, and 7 leaders on turn 3. And it's just is 7 hit points is a lot for an aggro deck to have to like divert from their beat your face strategy to like, oh, I need to take out this character so that you can't get there on me. Because if your deck is designed to go big and mine's not, the faster we get to big, the better you're off than I am.
Yeah.
So I think the aggro and then the resource cheating via the credits, if you're not doing that, I think you fall behind. This is early speculation by me, but that's where I see this at the moment.
I think she'll be. Yeah, I agree. She'll be an issue. I will say he will be an issue, but Max Rebo it could be a problem card. I will say he's very exciting for Avar Chris. He's going in
Yeah,
my Avar Chris deck.
yeah,
that green yellow Avar Chris. Oh yeah, let me
oh
get
yeah.
2 resources a turn. Great. Because once Avar gets out, that's a big problem for you to deal with. So, but yeah, I agree. I think 7 health is a lot. Oh, it's so much. I don't know what they were thinking there. That's kind of ridiculous, honestly.
Yep.
So yeah, that could it's going to probably warp the meta is what I would say. Like it's going to affect the meta significantly.
We'll see, but I think it's going to be a big thing that everyone's going to be doing right away. So,
Yeah.
Lats Razzie is just an amazingly solid card. Um,
Yes. Oh,
I
yeah.
think I think that card is going to see heavy play. It's just versatile in so many different ways. I love being able to like alter the card based off of what the needs of the situation are, and this just
Yep.
screams that. So that's going to be, and the fact that it's not heroic or villain is beautiful. So
Yep. Yeah, I like her a lot. I mean, the one con I will say from her is that enemy ground unit only. That's the one thing I'm like, it
no
hurts a bit
different
that
than
it's
a what is it?
ground
The
unit restricted.
what was the other card? No different than the blue card that was the villain that was the trooper that hurt itself and hurt somebody else.
Yeah, yeah, Death Trooper, yeah,
Death Trooper, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's the one con there, but I agree. Like it's still very good. Proxima is going to be strong.
I
Um,
disagree. I disagree.
you don't think so?
No, I think the investment that you have to get into her to get something out of it is too high. She should have been a 2 cost 0/5 to tap and give a credit because you have to tap her 3 times
Yeah.
just to pay for herself before you see any profit out of it. I think she's too costly for what she's giving you at that point in time.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I do see what you're saying in that, yes, it takes 3 taps for her to pay for herself, but she also is an automatic drop it on 3. Next turn, I get a 5 if I want,
Sure.
or a 7 in the turn after at 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So, like it can add up quickly, is what I would say. Like that's going to add up quickly, get you ahead of the game significantly faster. So I mean, I think she's decent. The 5 health keeps her alive, and the 1 attack means she's not really killing anything that attacks into her. So it's not a terrible thing for opponents to also swing into her to get her off the board. So she's got a decent balance, and I think she could see some play. Also, limited, she could probably be pretty decent.
Limited is
I
okay.
think,
So all of my
yeah.
comments are
We
premier
haven't talked
based,
about
not
limited. Yeah,
limited
we're
based.
talking
So,
premier, but limited also, I think she could be pretty
well,
good.
look,
She's uncommon.
compare her to the Gonk Droid, right?
Yeah.
Gonk Droid is you have to attack to get a one discount. It has to be on a unit. She's tapping her for one credit to spend on whatever you want at that point in time. But she
Yep.
also comes out the next turn. I don't know. It's yet to be to see. I don't think she's going to be as good as people think she's going to be. She is a credit generator, which there's only limited numbers, so that might give her a nod in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. But again, she's not as strong a credit generator, I would say, as just before that Max Rebo band.
Yeah, I think the only thing the Han leader has going for him is the fact that he's a saboteur.
Yeah, the Saboteur is nice. He's not good.
Yeah, the Falcon is
It,
nothing to write home about either.
yeah, the Falcon is also okay. I mean, it's not terrible. If you have a good split ground and space deck, it could be viable. I'm already looking at maybe Kaz green, maybe Han 4 green. It might have some value in potentially, but yeah, it's
It is
not
odd.
exciting like other Falcons for sure.
Yeah, you were on the
Um,
patient hunter for a little while, but I don't see it.
I I like Patient Hunter. I think Patient Hunter needs a way to protect him. Like you need Sentinel deck. You need some way to keep him safe because he does have a low stat line, but that ability is strong. Being able to tap
Oh,
things
wait a minute.
down and turn them off for the round. And even if he doesn't survive a long time, just a single round of, yeah, I'm going to pay Patient Hunter and you're not going to be able to attack with your leader next round. Next
So I was
round.
gonna say, so this is what I was missing. You can put that
Yeah.
on your opponent's units. That's what I was missing when I was looking at it. So you can actually, it's almost like a no good to me dead on a unit that you're then just giving them an experience and preventing them from readying the next turn.
Yeah. So
Okay.
an interesting risk reward because obviously if you want to keep shutting a single unit down, you can keep doing that, but you're given an experience token every round too. So it's got a good mix to it, but I think it could be a strong card potentially, but it's going to have build around it because you're going to need to try to keep it alive more than just a single round.
Good thing we don't have Old Woman Barrage anymore when this comes out.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I think that that was kind of the last week's worth of stuff. I'll mention again, I am just as concerned about stockpile as I am about Max Rebo.
Oh yeah, you get 2 credits in the first couple turns on the 4 resources. You can play this and just jump right to 7 on the next round. It's like this is going to be just as bad because of credits than anything else. Again, it's the combination of credits and ramp that I think is going to make
Mhm.
this egregious. So,
Yeah,
um,
I still think stockpile is the one card I'm like, that may end up needing a ban because that's going to even more than Max Rebo really warp the meta.
well, at least
At least with
Max
Max,
Rebo you can respond to. This you
yeah,
can't.
at least with Max Rebo, you can respond. You're getting the ramp along with them, so
Yeah.
that's like they are. I mean, you're both getting the ramp with that. This one's just, yep, I've jumped 2 ahead of you, and could have done that on like turn 3 potentially. Oof.
I like Uruk. I just wish he would have come out when GI was still available because he would fit so beautifully into that deck.
He really is your GI yellow right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that is a very good card. Yeah, red yellow decks are going to want to use him because that is, I mean, the fact that he's going to stay alive and he's going to attack for 6 the next turn,
Yeah.
great.
Galen Urso is, in my opinion, my build around card right now. This
Yep.
has such a unique, interesting thing to do by giving my opponent a unit, and then I get a buff out of it. It's like having all those cards that were events that say, oh, give all of your units raid 1 or whatever. But it was like, oh, but not the new units that I get. It's only the ones that are currently there. This fixes and ratifies that because as long as this is on the board, all of your units have said thing. And
Yep.
so as long as you can prevent him from dying and prevent your opponent from tacking him into your own units to then kill him off or something else like that, is like this is a fantastic card.
Yeah, he. he's going to be a staple of space decks,
Oh yeah.
particularly space decks that just want to do space and nothing else. This is amazing. Okay, I'm going to give you this, and you just don't have a way to kill it because I'm not going to give you anything to swing him into.
Right.
Deal with that. I get
Vader
Raid One
pilot
and
much?
Saboteur forever. Yeah, Vader's going to be great with. Yeah, Vader yellow. I think he'll use it best. I think he's a very good Han 4 card as well.
I think a Luke yellow deck could get advantage out of this as well.
Luke Yellow can get power out of this. Kaz potentially.
Yeah, like you
I'm
said,
not
any
as
any
pumped of a
space.
Kaz, but yeah, anything that's a space heavy. I don't think Poe will like it as locked because Poe. I mean, I always go back to Poe because I love me some Poe, but Poe likes to have a kind of even split of space and ground. So you're going to be able
Sure.
to kill him off in a Poe deck. So I don't think a Poe yellow is going to use it, but I do think the other space decks that utilize yellow, he's going to be good.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Uh,
Vader is the number one of he's going to be gross in a Vader deck.
I think
And right
this.
next to him, oh yeah, we're gonna go
I was
Vault
gonna say, I
Scarce
think
for a
this
bit.
Volt
Yeah,
Scarus Defender will be a staple in all red yellow villainy decks going forward.
yeah, yeah. The on attack is really good. That's fantastic. Being able to give a shield to it on the play costs you a card. That's rough, but it's fine. Or no, you had to have discarded a card, so you needed another way to discard first.
We already
That's
have
the question
two
is
villain leaders that are red that do that.
that's true, but we do have a couple that can do that. So yeah, yeah, he's gonna be good. Yeah, I like him a lot. But yeah, the big one on this page is definitely Krennic. We all know Krennic is going to be one of the top leaders we're going to see this set.
Yeah.
That ability is, yeah, you have to defeat a friendly unit. So he's going to be, the deck build for him is simple. You a lot of cheap units and a lot of huge units, no mid range.
I will
You
say
go
this though.
small to big.
Yeah, I will say this though. I haven't seen a lot of win defeated cards in the next set yet.
That's
So
true.
he doesn't get a lot of synergies with anything right away that we've seen, because that's really what you'd be trying to hit him with is
Yeah.
playing a unit that has a great win defeated trigger, and then that way you can trigger it whenever you want. I mean, I'm
Yep.
already thinking about him with Admiral Ozzel
Ozzel. Yeah.
from the Hoth. It's like, oh, I put him in a play, and now instantly you discard a card, and by the way, I get a credit. So instead of 3, it only really cost me 2 to make you discard a card at that point in time. So
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a big thing. He's when defeated. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. That is one thing we have not seen a lot of, and that also makes Thrawn 4 sad.
yeah.
I want more when defeateds, but it is what it is sometimes.
Well,
Although
I
speaking
think
of
we're
when
gonna.
defeated, we got one right there.
Yeah, yeah, we do. So I think I am gonna after we go over these ones, we're just gonna stop for the day
Yeah,
because we don't
I think
want to
it's a
go
good
through
spot.
everything. And this actually hits us with the last ramp card that we're getting in the set so far, which is Expendable Mercenary. Again, universal. That is the one thing I think they did correctly with the ramp in this set is there is no villainy only or heroic only ramp. It is all generic across the board ramp. So everybody gets equal play into that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. This was the ramp card. This is, I would say, how you do a ramp card. This one's well balanced. I think 4 cost is good. I think the 3/3 health is good. Like I like everything about this ramp card. This is the one in this set that I'm like, oh, yeah, that's perfect. That's no, as you said, no, not villainy or heroism, so everybody green can use it. This one's fantastic. It's unlike Stockpile and Max Rebo. I don't see this causing problems. I just think this being a good ramp card that is going to be in most green decks.
Yeah. The other card that's on this line that I think is a call out is this from a certain point of view. I think this is going to be a staple in a lot of people's decks, similar to Confiscate was, due to the fact that it's gonna allow you to essentially use your heroic or your common base more times. Essentially, is what it's doing. So being able to only use that epic action once to take away the aspect penalties to me seems so lackluster. Because if I'm actually splashing out of aspect stuff, I'm splashing more than I am just one card. And this also allows you to ignore the heroic and villainy aspects that are out of faction as well. And in like a Barris Offie, where she can just basically play things on curve out of aspect with this little 2 card combination of this plus whatever card you're trying to play.
Yes and no. I lean a little differently. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's I don't think it's good enough because, as you said, it requires you to be playing enough out of aspect for it to be coming up, but also you really need this to play that out of aspect without getting penalized too much. So I feel like if we see enough cards, there's like, yeah, this is worth paying the full cost for, but I'll also throw some of these in so it's cheaper, or the aspect penalty cost for, but I'll also have this in there so it's cheaper. Yes, I think as you said, Barris Offie is there. There are decks that can build around it that it's going to make it good, but I don't think it's going to be a staple because at least in Premiere, in Limited it might be a little more useful, but in Premiere it's too reliant on you need this card and one of your out of aspect cards in your hand and the right resources to play that card as well. It restricts your hand flexibility significantly.
I don't deny that because if there's like any other card that's like, say, now there are 2 of them, stuff like that, where you're
Yeah,
basically you have to require, or what was the other one? They hate that ship, where you have to
yeah,
have both cards in your hand for it to really be viable. It's just a matter of, like you said, do I have enough out of aspect cards, or even if they're just like you said, they're slightly out. But would you actually pay it if it's slightly out? If it's only going to cost me 2 extra, then I have to pay the one from this to then save one, and it's taking 2 cards. Maybe it's not worth it in that regard. But
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm definitely looking at a Barris
We'll see.
Offie deck with this right away, though.
Yeah, that's the one where I'm like, okay, but then it's no aspect penalty at all. That could be probably pretty good. So yeah, that has potential for sure. Especially, I mean, I think with Bears Offie, you're trying to combine this with a bunch of out of aspect event cards that you would
Hmm.
just be paying one more for, but then this makes it you're not paying anything more. So I think that's the build for her.
No,
I don't think it's a lot of out of aspect units. I think it's a lot of out of aspect events that are still good out of aspect.
don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the aspect things are. But I'm already looking at the
Yeah,
fact of like you could build a yellow green Offie deck and play the ignition card in that, and it's only going to cost you 8 still.
yeah, yeah. No, there's definitely value within that. So no, I don't disagree on that. Like I do think certain leaders, but I don't think it's strong enough that you're going to see it in a lot of decks.
So
Yeah,
all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. Hopefully, you got a little bit of gleaming out of it from our 2 cents on the new cards, and you got a little insight onto what the meta is currently at. We have a few more weeks of PQ still for this season. I know I'm going up to one in Washington here in a couple weeks. Still, no idea what I'm playing.
well, we got a limited in a couple weeks as well.
Oh, that's true. The Red Castle one's at the February 15th. So,
Yeah, we got that the 15th, and then the next weekend you've got the one that you're going up to in well, not even Seattle, in Bellingham, way
there's a bunch of
north.
us going up there for that. So, it'll be
Yeah,
nice to just like hang out and like road trip up there and stuff. So,
yeah, I think it'll be a fun time for you all. And but yeah, I know you'll figure out your deck the night before while
I have a
driving up
couple
there.
ideas already. I want to give myself a week's plan or a week's testing period. So I have one deck that I'm going to take to the showdown at what is it? Gongai Games on the 7th this Saturday. And
Yeah,
then I have an idea for a couple other decks to try out. So we'll see what happens.
perfect. All right. Well, with that, we're finished up for the week. Be on the lookout. We got some more good stuff coming. I think worth mentioning, Joey and I are planning for next weekend to start working on recording some rotation decks. So we'll start having some videos of that in the very near future. Yeah, the following week, basically. So be on the lookout for that. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to showing off some ideas for rotation decks. And I'm sure Joey's going to have something absolutely ridiculous that I've never thought about that he'll throw at me.
What you talking about, Willis?
It's gonna be great.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.